Okay, so here's the deal. Most salespeople will never reach their full potential, not because they don't work hard, but because they follow the wrong rules. So that's what we're going to talk about today in this episode. First of all, I am here to tell you old school sales is dead. Traditional closing tactics, they're outdated, right? We know this. People in the last 5 years or so, people have changed the way they buy. The general population had a complete shift. And so buyers are smarter, resistance is higher, people are shopping around all of the things. The future is influence, not pressure. The best closers don't sell, they guide buyers into certainty. You hear us talk about that all the time on this show. Who has the most certainty in the process? Who's the confidence? Is their confidence high enough to trust you with the project? So here's why Close It Now is a movement, not just training. This is about redefining the profession, redefining the profession of sales, redefining the profession of sales in home services. We're about raising the standard and rewiring sales psychology for the modern world. This is what we're all about. So, before we get into this episode, we've got a couple stops to make along the way. And then we're going to get into the 10 rules of the Close It Now code. So we're going to go through those 10 rules of the Close It Now code. So that's today's episode. Before we get into it, I am stoked to have all of you listening. Thank you so much for stopping by San Diego, and we're going to get into some great stuff today. First thing I want to discuss and make the announcement again is a couple things going on. First is, of course, the boot camp, Relentless, the Ultimate Sales Transformation, Boston, Massachusetts, in May 6th, 7th, and 8th. So Boston, Massachusetts, May 6th, 7th, and 8th, it's Relentless, the Ultimate Sales Transformation. Everything we're talking about today is going to be there. That's what we do is innovate. We are changing the game in sales. It is not your classic sales techniques. I can guarantee you this event will be nothing like you've ever experienced or been to in the trades before, in home services, anywhere. Guaranteed. Some of the things that are going on. We've got some killer speakers. We've got Doug Wyatt from Synergy Learning Systems. He is going to be there. I was on the phone with him yesterday. We've got some crazy cool stuff to cover. In fact, if you didn't hear it, go back and listen to the episode that it's a two-parter. Actually, we recorded for so long I had to split it into two parts. But go back and listen to the episode that I did with Doug Wyatt. And if that doesn't light your fire, your wood's wet. As pastors at years and years ago at the revival churches I used to go to used to say, if that don't light your fire, your wood's wet. So Doug Wyatt, check those episodes out. We're going to record another episode to promote this event. So we're going to talk a little bit about what he's going to be covering at the event. So be on the lookout for that episode. Also, I've got another gentleman, Tim Roberts. We just recorded his episode a couple of days ago. It's going to be dropping I think this coming Friday. Let's see. So this is March 18th, the day of recording today. So that would be March 21st, 2025. His company is actually called Scale It Now. May sound familiar. He actually modeled it a bit after Close It Now, because we work together so synergistically that it just makes sense to have some similar branding. So he's going to be there. He is the expert in figuring out system constraints. Where are you losing money and don't even realize it? So we're going to talk about that. Of course, Scott Sylvan Bell. He is going to be one of the speakers. It is going to be off the charts awesome. If you don't know who that is, he is basically coming out of retirement of the HVAC. And he's not an older gentleman, but he's moved on to other things. He's one of 4 people on the planet who are licensed to train Jay Abraham's content. So one of 4 people on the planet. That is his main gig now. If you don't know who he is, his uncles were the Bell brothers of Bell Brothers Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing that sold years ago. Enormous, very famous company. He was the nephew. He was in charge of sales training and training all of their technicians, all of their salespeople, day in and day out for 15 years. So he has a massive content, really incredible. And I'm happy to be able to say I call him friend now. And he hasn't trained and done anything in HVAC for a good while. We've built a relationship. He's coming out of that retirement to speak at this event as well. So he's number three. We've got Jonathan Neves on the list. He owns Green Energy Mechanical up in Boston. One of the most incredible things about him is his mindset work. When we talk about preparing for preparing for appointments, he's one of the best I've ever seen at that. If he's the owner, but if he was in the field, his average ticket is 30K or better all the time. He doesn't do sales that are low dollar sales because he shows up for the people and shows up to serve, and they choose him. I mean, I've literally heard of stories of one of his projects was like $175,000. He was like $75,000 higher than the nearest competition. It was absolutely insane. I think his biggest residential sell to date is somewhere in the neighborhood of $250,000 for one residential sell. So he is going to be speaking at the event. We've got, let's see, Doug C. Brown is going to be speaking at the event. He is absolutely total beast. His history goes back a long ways. He is now founder of a company called Vibitno, which is one of the best CRMs that I know of that I found. The other part of his history, of course, he is the follow-up monster. He's worked with everybody from NASCAR to Jason's Deli, you name it, literally thousands of companies. He's grown and exited over 30 companies himself. And he was Tony Robbins' director of sales and development for 7 years for one of Tony Robbins' companies. So incredible person. You're going to want to hear him speak. And then, of course, my man, Christian Moore, is going to be speaking at the event as well. He does the very best that I've ever met. He is the very best at gathering handwritten homeowner letters of recommendation and referral and testimony letters. You send him out to three. He sells 3 deals. He's going to get full page letters handwritten from 2 of them, guaranteed, hands down, every day of the week. So he's going to be sharing that. In fact, we're going to do a podcast and a webinar a bit on that process. And then, of course, he is basically at this point what you would call my protege. So he is going to be helping me run some of the event. He's going to be helping with a lot of the breakout sessions and the role playing that we're doing as well. So, and of course, yours truly, Sam Wakefield, Close It Now. I'm going to be doing the lion's share of the training. Yes, I will be taking you through the Close It Now process, start to finish. We're going to be covering psychology. We're going to be going deep on brain science, not in a way that's not understandable. If you've listened to this podcast, I break it down pretty easy. So, but we're going to do it in a way where you'll be able to get some immediate value and be able to implement it immediately. And not only implement it immediately, this is going to be a crazy amount of role play at this session, at this boot camp. So I've got some crazy cool stuff planned. Like I said, I can guarantee that it won't be like anything you've ever been to. If you are ready to make this year your year, make this your breakout year. You're tired of getting stuck at that same place. If your income year after year is within 10% of where it was the previous year, you have plateaued. I don't care where you are. If you're $1 million a year person, if you're a $5 million a year person, or anywhere in between, above that, below that, it does not matter. What I'm saying is there's opportunity for growth here. So make sure to get your ticket at closeitnowbootcamp.com. That's closeitnowbootcamp.com. And that will take you straight to the page. And for everybody listening, if you're with a company and you want to bring multiple people, I've got a buy 4, get 1 free special going on. So message me directly. We can get you hooked up with that. Email me, sam@closeitnow.net, or go to the website, sam@closeitnow.net, and click on the Contact Us or Book a Session tab and fill that out. Let me know that you're wanting to talk about some group tickets, and we can absolutely make something work for you. So closeitnowbootcamp.com to buy tickets at one at a time. If you have a group that you want to bring of 5 or more, then, or four or more, I guess. So tickets are buy four, get one free. If you want to bring a group, message me, let me know. We will work something out for you. So that is the boot camp announcement, which I'm so excited. And yes, we do have a venue now. So we have an address. I will be getting that out. It's going to be all over the internet. Make sure you join the Close It Now group. I'm going to send an email blast about it, all of the things. Yes, we have an address. Yes, you can start booking your flights and your hotels near this address. It is going to be awesome. It's a really, really, really cool venue. We're going to be doing some really fun stuff with it. So that is the announcement. The next is if you've ever gotten value from this podcast, I would absolutely love for you to go leave me a review. Your company lives and dies by reviews. Mine thrives with reviews as well. So go to Google, just search in Google, just search Close It Now. It will come right up. Leave me a 5-star review there, and Apple Podcast, 5-star review there. If I read your review on an episode and you hear it, message me and you will get a 1 hour free coaching session. And the value for that, people normally pay me $1,000 for an 1 hour session. That is your gift for leaving me a 5-star review if you hear it and message me. So that is my gauntlet. I throw down the gauntlet and I expect you to pick up the challenge. Um, I was just, me and my family went to the Renaissance Fair here near Austin, Texas this last weekend. And so I'm still kind of in those vibes. If you saw me out there, if you saw my Facebook, if you're curious, I did post a picture on my Facebook. Yes, my family loves cosplay. And yes, we did all dress up. So if you want to see a picture of me in what I was wearing as cosplay, go to my Facebook page and take a look because it was a lot of fun. So let's get into this episode because there's some good stuff here. So we're talking about the future. We're talking about, really the sales industry is broken, y'all. The sales industry has got some major problems. Too many people are living in the past. The future is influence. It's not pressure. And it's where we started. We're redefining the profession of sales. We're raising the standard. We're rewiring sales psychology for the modern world. And that's truly what's going on. There's some things that I'm working on that I cannot tell you about yet, but when you hear about it, it is going to blow your mind. If you think we're done innovating, you're wrong. So, but getting back to the content today, super excited about this. Today, we're talking about the 10 rules of the Close It Now code. So we'll do this. How do we do this? When we'll go, number one, rule number one, let's go 1 through 10. Number one is work to become someone worth buying from. That is the main theme of everything that we do. So when we're working to become someone worth buying from, here's the deal. One, there's two parts to this. One, it's not just your sales skills. It's all of the other elements of your life that make up a salesperson. Your sales is not the performance of an hour or an hour and a half. It's not the performance of 45 minutes. It's the overflow of your life. The overflow of your life. And when you have all of your life in alignment with your core values, you've established clear core values, you know what they are, and you live your life in alignment with those core values in these 5 other areas outside of sales skills. The sales skills are important, but they will come along. People want to buy from people they know, like, and trust, and people that are worth buying from. So as you're working to become someone worth buying from, you have to analyze these other elements of your life, which are, of course, your personal growth. Zig Ziglar used to say that personal growth is like a shower. You can't do it once a week and expect it to last all week. You have to do it every single day. So personal growth is one. Your spiritual life is one. In this area, this is not about a specific religion or anything like that. It's about you aligning with your core values in a way that you know that you're living in integrity and doing the things you know you should be doing for your own spiritual practice. So we've got personal growth, we've got spiritual practice, we've got relationships. What are your relationships? What's your relationship like at home? If you listen to the Roots and Wings series, you heard us talk about, are you a businessman with a family, or are you a family man with a business? Which is more important? Which comes first? If you say your family first, but you look at your bookshelf and you've got 200 business books and sales books, and you have no family values books and no books on how to parent and how to be a better listener and those types of things, and you look at your calendar and family events are not on there first, and you look at your checkbook, your checkbook, look at your banking statement, and it's business stuff first, you're lying to yourself. So, what are your relationships like? Are you the type of person that says, well, this is just the way I am, they have to learn how to communicate with me, are small minded? Or are you the person that says, you know what, I can learn better communication skills? I can learn ways to not be that toxic narcissist. That way I can show up for people in my power and my presence and make an impact in the world the way that I want to positively affect the world. Our communication, right? Our relationships. The other two go hand in hand. They are nutrition and fitness. Your nutrition and fitness. Are you doing things in accordance to what you know you should be doing? If you're overweight and not fit, not healthy, you cannot be a top performer like that. You'll just flat run for no other reason. You'll just flat run out of gas by the end of the day. We get into busy seasons of the winter or the summer, and you don't have enough fuel in the fuel tank to push through and to, with integrity, towards the end of your day. That's just one reason. There's a million other reasons. When we keep these micro agreements with ourselves that I'm going to get in the gym, I'm going to do this, I'm going to lose weight, and we do it. We're building integrity with ourselves. So our own confidence goes up. It's absolutely tangible when someone has the self-discipline, self-dedication to consistently stick with a plan. And that's why, things like 75 hard are so popular and why they get such crazy results. It's called 75 hard for a reason. If it was easy, everybody would do it, but it's not. And only a handful of the people who are willing to make the conscious choice to be intentional about their life are the ones that plan or any other plan, but when you're consistent, when you have consistent, persistent, disciplined action across time, you see incredible results. So that's why this is so important. So you get those 5 areas in alignment with what you know you should be doing. Sales skills will come along, but that's how we're working to become someone worth buying from. We're working on those other 5 areas of our lives at the same time that we're improving our sales skills, improving our communication. So that is rule number 1. Take a breath. Let's go to rule number 2. Success happens at the speed of implementation. This is code number 2 for Close It Now. The top closers don't just learn, they execute, but they don't just execute, they execute fast. You learn and execute fast. The best way to learn is to start executing immediately. So action is greater than information. The faster you apply, the faster you win. Most people wait too long. If you wait until you have it perfect, you'll never do it. Most people wait too long. That's why they lose. So that is rule number 2. Rule number 3. Sales isn't talking, it's listening. Sales isn't talking, it's listening. I heard this, of course, we've heard this expression. We were given 2 ears and 1 mouth. We should use them in that proportion. That is very, very true. It's insanely true. In fact, the numbers that came back from Rilla when they started sorting this, top performers talk about 42%, 42 to 43% of a sales appointment. Bottom performers talk about 62%. So where's the disconnect? We need to be asking better questions and listening more. The best closers ask the best questions. They don't just pitch, they ask better questions. Because people buy when they feel understood, not when they understand you. There's a big distinction here. People buy when they feel understood. not when they understand you. You have to check your ego at the door. It's not about you, it's about them. So when they feel understood, they will buy from you, not when they understand you. So here's the thing, if you're struggling with objections, you're probably talking too much. That's more than likely one of the symptoms or one of the things that are causing this problem. So listen more, ask better questions. You'll be able to handle your objections easier. Rule number 4: the best persuaders don't convince, they create certainty. They don't convince, they create certainty. So the best persuaders create certainty. Convincing equals resistance, certainty equals action. So when a homeowner feels 100% certain, when they have confidence, they buy. No pressure needed, right? Everything in sales has to do with what? Two things: trust and certainty. They trust that they're going to be taken care of. Not that you're going to do the right thing. They trust that they're going to be taken care of. If it's you, if it's the company, whatever, they trust they're going to be taken care of, and they have the certainty to know that the solution, that their future life is going to look different than it does right now, right? So when they have certainty, they'll take action. No pressure needed. The close it now system, of course, is about leading buyers to certainty, not begging for a decision. That's one thing. And everybody that coaches with me, yes, is a lot of the process. We've got the permission stack. Is it permission based? 100%. Is our mentality and our philosophy once we get in the home of certainty and confidence, and you are 100% buying from me today? Yes, it is. Absolutely. But we do it nicely, of course. Come to the event and I'll show you exactly how to do it. So, rule number 5: influence is the highest paid skill on earth. Influence is the highest paid skill on earth. If you master influence, you will never struggle to make money in your life. Sales, leadership, relationships, everything is about persuasion. So one of the critical things in the close it now process, the next evolution of where we're going, is influence mastery. We're going to be working on influence at the level that you have never seen before. So rule number 5: influence is the highest paid skill on earth. Rule number 6: decisions are emotional first, logic second. Emotional first, logical second. So when you're selling a product, when you're selling a service, it doesn't matter. This is for every single person out there. You're not just selling the thing. You're not selling the service. You're not selling the thing. You're selling a future. This is important. People justify logically, but they buy emotionally. In fact, the process is they buy with emotion, they justify it with logic, and then they justify that logical decision with another emotion. And that's the missing piece most people don't have. The first emotion is because there's two reasons people take action: to move away from pain and to move towards pleasure. The problem is it's weighted about 70-30 toward the pain side. More people, dramatically more, will take action to move away from pain than they will to gain pleasure, to gain increase or positivity towards something. So when you realize this, and we start to think of these things, we start to stitch them together, and now we've got a complete picture of why people take action. And the best action and the most complete action, the ones where they don't cancel and they don't have buyer's remorse, have both involved in the conversation. So the start of the call, the start of your appointment, start of your sales conversation, it's all about finding out what pain they're wanting to move away from. That's looking back into the past. Then the check-in point is the logic, which is, hey, I took my measurements, I found the problem. I found not even the problem, I found what's causing your problem. Or I did the evaluation, or whatever it is you do. If you're HVAC, if you're plumbing, electrical, garage doors, it doesn't matter. When you're doing the measurements and measuring the thing and calculating whatever it is for the thing that you do, that's your check-in point. That's the middle. That's the current, the real time of the now. So we're moving away from the pain, which is history, what's happened in the past. We're moving away from pain. That's the emotion. Logic is, I found this, it's causing your problem. Can you see how if we fix this thing, it's going to solve your problem and you won't have to deal with it anymore? But here's where most people, that's where most people stop. To complete the picture, now we have to justify that with another emotion, which is the future. The future emotion is painting the picture forward of how is their life going to change from the moment that your project is completed. That is the emotion that pulls them forward, that's going to justify that logical decision and make it all worth it. If you do that, you're going to get rid of your cancels. You're going to get rid of your buyer's remorse. You're going to get rid of those calls, 2, 3 hours later where you have to talk them off the ledge of wanting to cancel, wanting to get other quotes, because now they have a clear picture of where their life is headed and how much it's going to improve. And so that's why we say people make decisions based on emotion, justify with logic, and then justify that logic with another emotion. So learn to connect at the right level, right? We're selling a future. Why most salespeople waste time, is they sell features instead of selling the feeling of certainty. Stop selling the features and sell the feeling of certainty of the future. So that's rule number 6. Rule number 7, trust. It's all about trust. Rule number 7. This is crucial. You have to understand this. Trust is built before your pitch begins. If you wait until the presentation to build trust, you're already lost. Absolutely do not. So pre-frame, body language, authority, all of this happens before the close. In fact, all of this happens at the beginning. That's why if you've ever trained with me or coached with me, we spend a lot of time on the process, because the process is what closes the objection doors. It's not handling quote unquote objections at the end. It's actually, we handle our objections in the process. Then at the end, all we have to do is remind them of something they already agreed to. And it's really incredible how it works. So the best closers start selling before they ever pitch. Now, of course, I'm using pitch as a very general term. Before you present whatever it is you're presenting, before you pitch, because this truly is sales. We're not going to hide behind the fact that we're presenting, that we're pitching something, right? We've got a door pitch, we've got our intro pitch. If you another in sales, commonly, if you instead of script, it's a pitch, right? Let's call it for what it is for a change. We don't have to hide behind the fact, well, I'm not a salesperson, I'm a comfort advisor, I'm a project manager. Yes, I love project managers. That's the title that makes the most sense. But at the end of the day, y'all, we're selling stuff. Nothing happens until something gets sold. So if you're a professional, your responsibility is to move the conversation forward to a desired result. That is what a professional does. We don't take excuses. We take results as our proof. So that is number 7. Number 8, control the conversation, control the close. If you can control the conversation, like what I was just saying, if you control the conversation, you control the close. Sales is not about following a buyer's lead. For all of you that think, well, I just go with the flow and go with however they want to, wherever they lead, I follow. I'm here to tell you, will only ever have limited results with that. And it's not scalable at all. Sales is not about following the buyer's lead. It's about guiding them. As Scott Bell says, be the tour guide. Scott Sylvan Bell, he's a monster. He's such a good such a good closer, such a good sales trainer. And I love what he says. His closing line is, will you allow me to be your tour guide on this project? Will you allow me to be your tour guide in this process? Love it, because that clearly defines and paints a great picture in that homeowner's mind of what is going to happen. You're going to be the tour guide and white glove walk with them every step of the way. So it's not about following the buyer's lead. It's about guiding them. So if you don't take control, they default to what? They default to 2 things. If you're not in control, and I'll tell you, if you're the one that's like, you're following their lead and wherever they go, they're no wonder you get, I want to think about it, because if you don't take control, they're going to default to fear and hesitation. Fear and hesitation. A professional earns trust. If you just go with the flow, then you're creating fear and hesitation in their mind, because their confidence and certainty that you know exactly what the heck you're doing drops to the floor if you're just following their lead. A professional has a plan and executes their plan. They have an agenda for the meeting. They have a roadmap for the appointment. Your roadmap is is the salvation to your process, right? That is your roadmap. That's how you stay control. So do not lose control. If you lose control, especially at the beginning, if you lose control in your process, subconsciously you're telling them, if we're telling them they can guide us around and they're in control of the appointment, subconsciously what we're telling them is they're also in control of how much they decide they want to pay you for your project. Let that one sink in. So remember, use the permission stack. That is the framework for leading without resistance. If you want to know about the permission stack, go back and listen to that episode. So that's rule number 8. Rule number 9: objections aren't barriers, they're signals. Every objection means they're still in the game. If they weren't asking you questions and having objections, they don't want to buy from you. But as long as they still have an objection, they still have a question, they are still in the game. They still want to buy from you. A no equals not yet. The key is understanding what that homeowner needs to feel safe. It's our goal, it is our responsibility, again, to create a container that is safe, comfortable, trust, fun, that they can feel safe to make a buying decision inside of that container. Now, when I say container, I'm talking about the 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 bubble that we create in our conversation. The best closers love objections because they know, one, they know how to navigate them, but as long as objections are handling, we're one step closer to buying. Every single no, this is one of the reasons I love Go for No. If you haven't read Go for No, make sure to read it or listen to it in your drive time university. Is every no is one step closer to a yes. So get them out of the way. Let them say no to some stuff. It's okay. You cannot flinch, right? You can't just get emotionally distraught with it. Know they're coming and know how to handle them. When you've known how to, so sales is not a fun game if you don't know the rules. But the second you learn the rules, it becomes sales becomes just a fun game as long as you know how to play the rules of the game. So that is number 9. Objections aren't barriers, they are signals, they're buying signs. And rule number 10, we hit the last one. Rule number 10: your income is a reflection of your influence. Your income is a reflection of your influence. You don't have a sales problem. I'm here to tell you, you don't have a sales problem, you have an influence problem. Sales is easy to learn. In fact, most of sales is taking orders. Influence is why people get paid what they do in our profession. So if you're having a sales problem, it's not truly a sales problem, it's an influence problem. The more people trust you, the more people respect, listen, the more money that you will make. It's directly correlated. This is why the Close It Now movement isn't just about selling, it's about transforming who you are. We're not just selling anymore, we're transforming who you are to be that person worth buying from. So here's my challenge. I'm just throwing down the gauntlet. The Close It Now movement begins now. So let's go over the 10 rules again, and then I've got a challenge for you. Rule number 1, again, work to become someone worth buying from. Rule number 2, success happens at the speed of implementation. Number 3, sales isn't talking, it's listening. Rule number 4, the best persuaders don't convince, they create certainty. Rule number 5, influence is the highest paid skill on earth. Number 6, decisions are emotional first, logic second, emotional again, no, is the third. Rule number 7, trust is built before your pitch ever begins. Rule number 8, control the conversation, control the close. Now, when I say control the conversation, that doesn't mean we steamroll and plow through people. We're there to listen to understand, not listen to respond. The goal is not to talk faster than everybody else and force what you have to say down their throat. The goal is to listen closer than anyone's ever listened and process what they said and have more concern, care, compassion, and empathy than anyone's ever had and serve at the highest level. I'm not asking you to be somebody that you're not. I'm asking you to be the best version of yourself, to be you times 10. So when you do that, that is where we're able to control the conversation, to control the close. Number 9, objections aren't barriers, they are buying signals. Remember that. And if you have a well-executed sales process, there's truly no objections left. There's only either questions or, really it's just questions or concerns, but there's no actual objections left. I'm here to tell you 3 bids is not an objection. It's a smokescreen. Think about it as a smokescreen. Price is a question. It's just a comparison question. It's not an objection. It's a comparison question. Talk to so-and-so, talk to husband, talk to wife, talk to partner, talk to uncle, talk to whoever. That's just a rescheduling problem. Let's reframe this. It's not an objection. It's just a rescheduling issue. We just have to, no problem, of course. Let's work on the reschedule and get that locked in. Bam, fam, book a meeting from a meeting. It closes deals. If you're not doing it, you're missing out. Number 10, your income is a reflection of your influence. You don't have a sales problem, you have an influence problem. So those are the code. This is the Close It Now code 1 through 10. So these rules are the standard for the next generation of sales professionals. You're either evolving or you're getting left behind. If you're not adopting these 10 codes as your personal standard you refuse to compromise on, you better get used to extinction, because the ABC process, brass balls and coffees for closers, those days are gone. Does it work here and there? Yeah, but you're not going to be able to browbeat people into closing for very long and have a very successful career. We have to serve at a higher level. The time is now to raise the standard. So here's my call to action. Share this episode with somebody that needs to hear it. Absolutely. Share with your friends, your family, your coworkers. Who do you know that needs to hear this episode? Share it with them. Number 2, go join the Close It Now movement. You can find us on Instagram at The Real Close It Now. You can find me on LinkedIn. Search Sam Wakefield on LinkedIn. Go find the Facebook group. Just search Close It Now on Facebook. The group will come right up. Join the group. It's an incredible group of people. I do a ton of training in there. We do webinars in there, all kind of stuff that you can't get strictly from the podcast. The next is, are you ready to master influence? Is it time to finally stop saying I'm going to and actually do it? Drop me a message. Is it time to work with me? If you're not following every single one of these 10 codes to the letter, then you've got work to do, right? If you're not closing at an insanely high percent, if you're not closing at 60, 65% or greater on marketed leads, yeah, let's talk, right? Let's have real talk, no shit on this one. If you're not closing on marketed leads at strictly marketed leads at 50%, 55% or greater, you're not there yet. That's my gauntlet to you. That's my challenge to you, right? When you become a closer, that means your average ticket is high and your close rate is high. It's not one or the other. That means both are high. That means you're able to provide for your family in a way you've never been able to provide for before. You're able to make an impact in your community in a way you've never been able to make an impact before. If you're not to that point, then it's time to talk. Message me, sam@closeitnow.net. I'll hook you up with our coaching program. I still have a few spots left in my one-on-one coaching. Those are going to be going away or just about going away after the event. I do not have the bandwidth to roll in a bunch of people in one-on-one coaching. So if you want to be one of the few, one of the last few who get one-on-one coaching with me for a while, then absolutely reach out, sam@closingnow.net. Your time is running out. I won't do one-on-one coaching forever at the price it's at. So just throwing that out there, that you need to know this. So message me. If you're ready to master influence, let's go. Let's get you to that next level. People don't come into our coaching program and not see results unless they just don't apply what we're talking about. It's strictly up to you. Remember code number 2, success happens at the speed of implementation. That's everything. So are you ready to master influence with me? Let's go. So final step, make sure you go leave me a review. If I read it, you'll get a free coaching session, get your experience. You can try it before you buy it that way. Also, one other quick announcement, I do now have, for all of you business owners that want to talk to me about having us out to your company. Yes, on-site training. We have that. We're booking for the year. Also for individuals, for one-on-one coaching, for both places, I now have financing for my coaching, which is awesome. We teach financing. We teach people how to use financing. Sadly, there's not a lot of options for coaches to be able to offer financing until now. So I have one. I have financing for my coaching. So reach out. If you thought, of course, if you didn't know the price, you didn't know. But if you thought maybe that the coaching programs, either for your company or for your individual, was maybe too expensive for you, it's not now. I now have financing, so we can get you hooked up in a way so you can make nice, small, comfortable, easy monthly payments while your income grows, implementing what you are learning from our coaching program. So reach out to me about that, and make sure to get your ticket for Relentless, the ultimate sales transformation. The bootcamp is going to be fire. CloseItNowBootcamp.com. I will see you there. Everybody, that is where we're going to show you how to become someone worth buying from.